Hey everyone, it's Dr. Jensen, and I created this assignment for you to take a mini tour of SPSS, the software we're going to be using for our statistics class. So I am in some data right now that we will be using quite a bit in class labs. So let me show you a couple menus and some views as well as some functions so you can get the sense of how this is going to work in a very quick video. So a few of the menus we will use are obviously the File menu. This is where we go find and open things like data, syntax, and output. So remember, data is the raw data and variables as they're organized into a spreadsheet that kind of looks like Microsoft Excel. Syntax is actually a little window or editor that we use to type in raw commands to run different kinds of statistical functions. And finally, output is really kind of like the receipt at the end of the function you run, which shows you what function created, or what it looks like if you need to see inside of a variable or run two variables in an analysis against each other. Another menu we will use quite a bit is the transform menu. Here we find compute variable and recode into same or different variables. When we recode, we're reorganizing the data to combine things together or pull things apart. We also do things like dummy variables, which allow us to set placeholders and make comparisons of one group against another. Well, a final menu we use quite a bit in this class is the Analyze menu. This is the menu where all the functions live. So in here we have things like descriptive statistics, frequencies, and crosstabs. This lets us see the kind of information contained in each variable or across categories between two variables. Finally, we're going to look at how to view data. So in here, we are actually in what's called the variable view. The variable view is the best way to look at variables stacked in rows, one right after the other. So I'm in a data set called AdHealth, which interviewed children between age 11 and 17 and followed them over time for about 14 years in different waves. As they were interviewed, we recorded the month, day, and year of each interview. So these are stacked in these rows as follows. We also found out all kinds of interesting things about them inside this data set. Their physical health and well-being, as well as things like their friendships, their family relationships, and their experiences in school. If we go into the data view, we can actually see the raw data file of how the information was entered into SPSS. So here we have those three same variables, month, day, and year. But this time it's stacked in columns, and each of the entries across these interviews are accounted for in rows. So most of these interviews happen during the summer, 6, 5, 7, 8, and 9. So that's May, June, July, and August. Most of these interviews occurred in 1995. So it's the same kind of information, just represented in a raw file. So across the rows is one entire survey or interview of a person inside of this study. Across the columns are the individual questions that person was asked. So that's the difference between the data view and the variable view. The final thing we're going to look at is when you're working in SPSS, how are you going to find your files to use for labs, and where are you going to save your work? We do that here. So when we go to File, we open the data, and we do Save As, and inside your saving file, you want to navigate to what we call the R drive. The R drive is the research drive located at University of Florida to store large things like data sets that we use for science and analysis. The other drive we look at is also the M drive. The M drive is a student file storage drive. This is a secure place that every student gets that's working inside of different applications at University of Florida. So the M drive is where you save your work. The R drive is where you retrieve the files. Hopefully this video helped you and that this screencast gave you a mini tour of what you're going to see in SPSS. Please reach out to me if you have questions, and good luck.